If you're thinking about building a new home in Travisso, this might be the most valuable video that you watch. The truth is, most buyers overpay by tens of thousands of dollars on a to-be-built home, simply because they don't know the process, they don't know what's negotiable and what's not negotiable, and they don't know how to negotiate the best deal. In this video, I'm going to show you how to negotiate the biggest savings possible. This is a clear step-by-step method that works whether you're buying through Taylor Morrison or if you're buying through Toll Brothers, and it actually works even outside of Travisso. So make sure that you hit the like button and that you subscribe to this channel, because I will also be releasing a separate video showing the best strategy for saving money on an inventory home, which is a completely different approach. It's a completely different negotiating process. Now, I do want you to be notified when that video comes out, so make sure that you do subscribe. Now, as you know, building in Travisso is not cheap. It's one of the most popular communities in Leander. Actually, it's one of the most popular communities in the greater Austin area. And the lots are premium and the homes are beautiful. But with all of the different pricing pieces that are involved in a to-be-built home, it's super easy to overpay without even realizing it. Right now, there are two main builders in Travisso, and they are Taylor Morrison and Toll Brothers. And the buying process for both Taylor Morrison and Toll Brothers is fairly similar, but there is a bit of a difference in how they like to negotiate. Either way, the strategy that I'm going to teach you in this video works extremely well for both of these builders. So let's get started with step number one, which is once you've identified your favorite lot and your favorite floor plan, you'll want to put together the estimated pricing. And here's a formula for how to do that. Start with the lot premium and then add the base price of your selected floor plan. It's likely that the exterior elevation has an added cost, so add in the cost of your selected exterior elevation. Then add the cost of your selected structural options, and then subtract the builder incentives. This will give you your initial purchase price. Now, we're really going to focus on this initial purchase price, and we are actually going to come back to this later in the video, but let me quickly explain why this is so important. As we progress in this video, I'll explain the items that are negotiable and the items that are not negotiable. Well, two of the three items that are negotiable make up your initial purchase price, which is why we're really going to focus on this. Now, as we progress with the construction of the home, the builder is going to ask that we make additional selections for low voltage and that we make our design selections. So we will need to add in the cost of our low voltage selections and then add in the cost of our design selections. And then this gives us our estimated total purchase price. Now, I know ahead of time, you're not going to know the exact numbers for your low voltage, and you're not going to know the exact numbers for your design selections. A good rule of thumb is to talk with the sales rep and ask them what the averages are and then plug in those numbers. And finally, both Toll Brothers and Taylor Morrison offer lender incentives. The lender incentives will not lower the purchase price of your home, but it can be applied towards a rate buy down, or it can be applied towards your closing costs. Step number two is to identify where the negotiating opportunities are. And let's start by let's eliminate the items that won't change no matter how hard you try to negotiate. Those items are the base price, the elevation costs, your structural options, the low voltage selections, your design selections. Those are things that no matter how much you try to negotiate, the builder's just not going to negotiate on those items. So I don't want you to focus your negotiating efforts on those. Neither Toll Brothers or Taylor Morrison will negotiate on them, and that means that there are three major categories where you can negotiate. Those categories are the lot premium, the builder incentives, and the lender incentives. So let's start with the lot premium. This is almost always negotiable. The flexibility is going to depend on whether the lot is in a new section or an older section. Most builders want to test the market, so they're going to be less likely to negotiate on a lot premium for a lot that's just been released. If the lot has sat on the market for a while, then of course there's going to be more room to negotiate. Some lots have less desirable characteristics, like a steep slope Or if it narrows in the back, which would give you a smaller backyard, those features would indicate that there is more room for negotiations, and it'll also probably indicate that the starting price for the lot premium is going to be a lot lower. Now, as you probably know, if the lot faces north, northeast, or east, then there's going to be less flexibility in negotiation because those lots have higher demand. The builder knows that they don't have to lower the lot premium on their more desirable lots, especially the ones that face in those directions. Now, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't try to negotiate on the lot premium. You absolutely should. It never hurts to ask. All right, let's move on to builder incentives, which is another big savings opportunity. Builders will always start with the incentives that are listed on their website. Sometimes they're advertised in their sales offices. But I want you to think of that as just the starting point. In many cases, you can negotiate for a lot more. You should always ask the builder to increase the incentives that they are offering you. The third savings opportunity are the lender incentives. Now, this is trickier because the lender incentives, they come from the lender side, not the builder sales side. There are two different departments with two different budgets. And normally when you are negotiating, you'll be working with the sales agent who works on the builder's sales side. And of course, they're not authorized to give you more lender incentives because they don't work for the lender. But you should still ask for more incentives because sometimes the sales rep will contact their lending partner and ask if they can provide you more incentives just so that they can make the deal work. After you've identified where the savings and negotiating opportunities are, step number 3 is to identify your desired initial purchase price. And the best way for me to show you how to do this is by going through a live example. Taylor Morrison has the information that we need on their website. Unfortunately, Toll Brothers, they are a little bit more guarded with their information, and you'll actually have to go into their sales offices to get their updated lot pricing. So for this example, I'll select a lot and a floor plan from Taylor Morrison, but this method works for either builder. I'll go onto the Taylor Morrison website and I'll select a lot in the Naples collection. I'll select lot 8. The lot premium is $110,000. Then I'll select the popular Larimar floor plan and I will select the structural options that I want. And for the exterior elevation, I'll select elevation D. Here's the pricing so far. The lot premium is $110,000, and then we add in the base price for the Larimar, which is $872,990. Plus the exterior elevation for elevation D, that's an additional $10,000. And then add in the structural options. In this case, that came out to $30,280. And just for this example, let's say that the builder is offering incentives of $80,000. That'll bring our initial purchase price to $943,270. Now keep in mind, that's our initial purchase price. And as I mentioned, we're going to come back to this. As we move forward, we'll add in our low voltage selections and we'll estimate that it'll be $15,000. And then we'll add in our design selections. Once again, I'll estimate $135,000 in total design selection. That brings the total estimated purchase price to $1,093,270. And again, just for this example, let's say that the builder is offering lender incentives of $20,000. By going through this exercise, we've put together our pricing, and in order to get the best deal, I would look at the initial purchase price of $943,270, and I would try to get it down to a price that I'm happy with, taking into consideration the market conditions. In this case, in a slower market, I would target an initial purchase price of $900,000. That would be an additional savings of $43,270, which would be about $145,000 in total incentives. Now do keep in mind that depending on the lot and depending on the floor plan and the current market conditions, we may be able to save even more. Step number 4 is to negotiate for the desired initial purchase price. In this case, To get the initial purchase price down to $900,000, down from $943,270, I will need to negotiate about $45,000 more in savings. Now, having worked with these builders, I know that there are two areas where I can negotiate, and those areas are the lot premium and the builder incentives. So I would target a $30,000 reduction in the lot premium, possibly even more, and I would start by asking for way more at a price where the builder is likely to say no. Then I would slowly work my way up towards my target price for the lot premium. And this is important because I do want to hear a no from the builder when I start out. That means that I'm not leaving anything on the table. Imagine if I said I want to negotiate $30,000 off the lot premium, and they're like, yeah, okay. I would feel like I could have gotten a better deal. So I always want to start very low and then know that I need to work my way up. And while I'm negotiating on the lot premium, I'm also going to be targeting an increase in the builder incentives by an additional $15,000, going from $80,000 that they're offering me currently up to $95,000 in incentives. Once again, I would actually start by trying to get more in builder incentives, but I would be happy to get the $15,000 increase that I'm targeting. If I can get more, of course, I'll happily take it. And there have been times where my clients were pleasantly surprised with getting an even better deal than what we were targeting. Step number 5 is once all of that has been agreed upon and we're done negotiating and we've gotten to our targeted initial purchase price, I would ask for the lender incentive to be increased. In this case, I would ask for an increase from $20,000 in lender incentives up to $25,000. This way, hopefully, my clients won't have to worry about the closing costs. They won't have to come out of pocket when they're sitting there at the closing table. All right, so that's the process. And in my experience, it's the best method to negotiate a great deal when buying a to-be-built home. And here's why it works so well. New construction pricing can be complicated, and when buyers don't understand what's negotiable, they try to negotiate on everything, which usually backfires. Buyers get overwhelmed and they usually ask for too much. And then builders start to think that the buyers are being unrealistic. And it starts to cause friction between the two sides, and sometimes the deal falls apart for no good reason because both sides are upset with one another, and it's really something that could be avoided. Well, this method keeps the negotiations clean, simple, and effective. It focuses on the initial purchase price, and it uses the lot premium and the builder incentives to get to your desired price. The lender incentives are used as an additional closing interest rate savings tool. Understanding this method makes the builder more willing to work with you, and it gets you the best deal possible. I hope that I've made this process easy and clear to understand, and if you want to work with somebody who knows Travisso extremely well and who consistently negotiates massive savings for his clients, please give me a call. Hiring me costs you nothing, but it could save you tens of thousands, and in certain cases, it could save you hundreds of thousands. If you want to grab a new home savings guide, go down into the description below and click on the link. My name is Ahmad with eXp Realty. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.